The Turning Pages project is an initiative I started sometime last year when I was doing the fellowship. That's kind of when we put together the whole concept, and we started working a little slowly by picking a few girls that I could afford to take back to school using my money, my resources, my limited resources. But I just knew I did have a vision for teenage mothers from low-income communities and rural areas that are not able to get back to school after they fall pregnant. So it's either they get married early, or they're just not doing anything and struggling to raise their kids. And some of them are coming from homes that are like really, they cannot afford much, even though there's the government has put in place the re-entry policy, and now education is free from the first grade to the 12th grade. But it's still a little hard for some people to get back into school because you need uniforms, you need all these other resources to get back to school.
Early child marriages is big across the continent, but to zone it down to Zambia, how much of an issue is this that it needs something people like you to address?
This is quite a big challenge. The statistics are staggering when it comes to the numbers of teenagers that are dropping out of school, and especially in rural areas and low-income communities, because there's so many factors at play, even like cultural issues. Culture doesn't look down upon teenagers getting married in rural areas. It's kind of like a norm. So now you need to go in there and tell them a different story, and also remind them that it could even be a crime if a teenager is pregnant by somebody who's a little older.
So how do you go into these communities where you're working and make them understand that this culture that is being pushed, and it's not just in Zambia, it's across the continent, is actually kind of disrupting the growth of the girl child?
Well, first of all, we kind of realized that just getting on the ground and doing this would be hard. So you do need to include the people in those areas that have a better understanding of what is going on. So we're trying to work hand in hand with the chiefs in those areas, the counselors, and government line ministries that are in those areas, especially from the education ministry, like the DEBs and other ministries, because they have a better understanding of what is happening. And they also have the numbers that they can give you of the kids that are dropping out of school every term. Every time schools reopen, some girls don't come back because they got married over the holidays. And since they understand the culture there as well, you might walk in with a different perception coming from the urban area, right, where it's a little different. Yeah, but we're also trying to understand the homes they're coming from. How do you make it better? Because you just can't tell them you're gonna go back to school without fully understanding where they're coming from, why they don't want to go back to school.
How exactly are you helping these teenage mothers?
So for starters, we are linking them to mentors. So sometimes you need to see another person who's done better or gotten out of a situation for you to actually start to dream a little bigger and see how your life could get better. So we have mentors on board that will be mentoring them. We also have counselors, because we realize that they need a bit of counseling for them to get to a place. Some of them, you talk to them and they don't want to go back to school, so right, you're a little stuck. But if you bring in counselors that can actually talk to them, understand the psychology, and try to get at them from a different angle, that might help. And we're also trying to link them to some leadership programs, and also some income generating programs that have been incorporated, because we understand it's not just a mother, but it's also a child. So you're solving like two birds, one stone. Well,
Kayula, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us.
Thank you so much. And thank you to the American Embassy and Zoea, and also VOA for just having me.